This young girl, Tara Connor, how old is she? 21. She went out and she was partying. She's from Kentucky.
She's so cute.
She went to New York and she was hanging out at all the parties, doing what Paris and Lindsay do, you know, dancing and whatever. And so he held a press conference to announce whether or not she was going to retain her crown.
Yeah.
And then she started to cry.
She did.
Going, I just want to thank Donald who's giving me a second chance.
And it was brilliant.
And there he is, hair looping, going, everyone deserves a second chance. And I'm going to give her a second chance.
Her hair is perfect for that. Your hair is perfect for that.
Listen.
Rosie O'Donnell is back in the headlines, and she is not holding back. The outspoken comedian and television personality is once again turning heads with her candid take on Donald Trump, this time revisiting one of his most talked about public moments and calling it exactly what she believes it was, a performance. According to Rosie, what many viewed as an act of generosity was nothing more than a carefully choreographed spectacle designed for maximum optics. The tension between these two has never really gone away, and Rosie's latest remarks are a sharp reminder that their years-long feud is very much still alive. Her commentary cuts deep, blending wit with a pointed message that longtime fans will recognize instantly. Could this be the moment their public rivalry reignites all over again? Stay tuned, because things are just getting started.
I feel like I've been doing similar work over the past 8 years, observing Donald Trump. No offense to the chimpanzees, but... And after a while, I don't know how long exactly, but Dr. Goodall spent most of her time watching them from a distance, began to interact with her fellow primates, and last night, that happened to me too. Because when Donald Trump gave a crowd in Indiana, Pennsylvania, yet another review of my performance at the Academy Awards.
Jimmy Kimmel proved once again why he is one of Hollywood's sharpest voices, delivering a line so perfectly timed that the laughter it sparked felt like more than just a punchline. The late-night king took aim at Donald Trump in a way that had the room roaring, but anyone paying close attention knew there was something far more layered happening beneath the surface. Kimmel has a gift for packaging serious commentary inside a perfectly crafted joke, and this moment was no exception. By framing Trump as a figure whose behavior has become almost predictably controversial, he managed to say in one breath what political analysts spend hours debating. The audience laughed, but that laughter carried real weight, and if Kimmel's track record is anything to go by, the best punchline may still be on its way.
Reads my truth to the entire audience right before the best prime time, the best picture, and it said basically, he is the worst host of the history. He reads the whole thing, and then I think he said something like, ha, 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 he thinks he bothers me, or some crap like that. I said, he's one of the dumbest human beings ever. He should have listened to his wife.
Well, he is a cruel, criminal, and mentally unstable man. And Duty to Warn was a book that came out when he was first in office. Psychiatrists across the country who don't ever really diagnose people that they don't serve personally came together and made a book, Duty to Warn, to tell the world what a narcissistic, mentally ill person he is.
The mood shifted dramatically when Rosie stepped away from satire entirely and delivered something far more raw. No punchlines, no softening, just direct, deeply personal words that clearly came from a place of genuine concern. By invoking the Duty to Warn movement, she positioned her criticism not as celebrity gossip, but as part of a much larger national conversation about leadership, character, and accountability. The audience was no longer just entertained. They were confronted with a stark, unfiltered perspective that changed the entire energy of the moment. And then came Trump's response because, of course, he never stays silent for long. Rather than addressing the substance of what was said, he took to social media to blast Jimmy Kimmel's Oscars hosting, calling it uninspiring, labeling the broadcast as politically biased, and even suggesting a replacement host could save the show's ratings. He wrapped it all up with his signature campaign slogan, a move that felt less like a rebuttal and more like a rally cry aimed squarely at his base, with critics circling and the internet buzzing. One thing is clear, this story is far from over.
Well, thank you, President Trump. Thank you for watching. I'm surprised you're still... Isn't it past your jail time?
Over it. I think it's wonderful because I like to see bad people fail. Rosie failed. I'm happy about it. She's basically a disaster. Well, she called me a snake oil salesman. And, coming from Rosie, that's pretty low, because when you look at her and when you see the mind is weak. I don't see it. I don't get it. I never understood. How does she even get on television? I believe Barbara made a terrible mistake putting her on, and I think Barbara's probably paying a big price. If I were running The View, I'd fire Rosie. I mean, I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers. I'd say, Rosie, you're fired.
Trump's response to Rosie was even more telling. Rather than engaging with any of the points she raised, he went straight for the personal attack, using the kind of harsh language that has long defined their turbulent public history. It was a textbook redirect. Shift the story from the argument to the argument's messenger, and suddenly the substance disappears entirely. This move did exactly what it was designed to do. What began as a pointed conversation about leadership and public behavior was quickly transformed into headline-grabbing personal drama between two of entertainment's most combustible personalities. The feud overshadowed the critique, and the spectacle swallowed the substance whole. But here is the real question everyone is asking. With both Rosie and Kimmel showing no signs of backing down, how far is this clash actually going to go?